Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the call for tonight. This is typically our Q&A call. I'm going to do it a little differently since we've been doing a special series. And after I go over your questions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into part 4 of what we have been talking about, which is making the most of the internet marketing products that we have. So if you would, if you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box. So if you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box, and then we will go ahead and get started. And as I said, this is part 4 of our series. We have part 5 is pretty much the last one. Part 6, we're going to talk about something that doesn't get talked about a lot in internet marketing. We're going to talk about cash flow. And I'm going to go back to my accounting days, and we're going to talk about your cash flow and how you can make the most of it with some of the things that you buy, as well as the way you sell things. And so I know that this is going to be some good information. I'm really excited about presenting some of that to you, and we will talk about those things in the next in the last session. Right. So there's part 5, which is technically the end. Part 6, we're going to talk about cash flow. So thank you, James and Cleta. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to go ahead and put my presentation up here. We're going to put that there at the beginning. Let's see. Actually, I need to make an adjustment. And we just need to make sure it's on monitor 1. Monitor 1. All right. And we are ready. So I'm going to share my screen with you now. Okay, this is part 4 of our series, and it's called doing a webinar and workshop. Some of you all may have seen some of this concept before, and I'm gonna be sharing with you a few different angles to it. We talked about being an affiliate of the products that you have already. We're gonna talk about webinar, what I call webinar jacking. And again, the total concept is not totally new. However, there are going to be some things that I know will make your doing this advantageous for you, whether or not you're trying to build your list or whether or not you're trying to just increase your sales, right? So of those of you here, do me a favor. If your main objective right now in your internet marketing business is to grow your list, right? If that's your main objective, would you please put the number 1 in the question box? And if your main objective right now is to get more sales, so you have a list, but you just need to get more sales, I'd like you to put the number 2. And then if your main objective right now in your internet marketing business is to find a business model, then put the number 3, right? So 1, 2, and 3. 1 is if you're looking to build your list, that's your primary objective. Number 2, if your primary objective is to just get more sales. And number 3, if your objective is to find the right business model. So I'm assuming that you have the right niche. You just want to find the right business model. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started here. And what we're going to do tonight is I like to start with your questions. So if you have questions about anything you're trying to do, remember this is on this call, you're not limited to PLR, and so you can write anything in here that you want, right? So any question that you have, and interrupt me, right, in the course of the time. Okay, so what's coming up? You might have seen in my email. There is a. I know some of you all you like to get Sajan's PLR. I actually I actually went through that presentation. I went through the ebook, and I actually went through the through the videos. And there are about 5 things you still need to know, and I'm going to give those to you in a in another video or videos. Right. So I already have them outlined. There are 5 other things you really need to know about Kindle that will make a difference if you actually go to start self-publishing. Right. So you don't. So on the one hand, Kindle is great. There are a few extra things that I know some of you will be interested in, especially those of you who are coaches. Some of you all, if you haven't really start fully figured out what your niche is, these 5 things are very important, and they're also very important for your customers. Right. So I will pass those on to you tomorrow. And for those of you who are picking it up, there's a link in my email that for those of you who are looking to pick that up during early bird. I have also been telling you about Mike Cooch's his FB ads deal there. And it's weird because I bought the thing for $47. He's selling it for 17. And but it's a good introductory course. And for me, at the time, I really wanted to learn Facebook ads. So I really did like the course, and that's why I recommend it to you. And that's in my email, or it's at superfastactionbonus.com/FB ads less. That's Mike Cooch's, and he's going to end that tomorrow, right? I think it's going back up to $97. So looking to learn Facebook ads, you can check that out there. Workshop Revolution comes out on Monday. And just on Monday, probably Monday into early Tuesday, because the 4th of July, I'm gonna have a really, I'm gonna have a special price, and I'm also gonna have one of the upsells bundled into the front end. So that's the only day you're gonna be able to get it. The only day you're gonna be able to get it is gonna be Monday, right? And so I'm gonna send out email on Monday, and those of you who are part of my community, you'll get access to it. Obviously, now those of you who are part of the Ultimate Insider Coaching Program, please do not buy it. I'll be putting that in your members area. So I'm just going to give you a link to the new members area. So again, you're part of the coaching program. Please do not buy it. I will be putting that inside of your membership. And again, okay, so tonight's part 4, parts 5 and 6, I'll be doing next week. Okay, so now Cleta's question is, now with online sales, do you have to worry about collecting taxes? No, you do have to pay taxes, right? But for the most part, you're selling all over the world, and you're selling digital products. Now, if you get into selling physical products, I think you sort of have an issue there, right? But for a digital product, when you're selling information or coaching, you don't really have to collect sales tax that I know of. Now, I'm obviously not an accountant. I do know accounting, small business accounting, but I don't think that you have to pay sales tax. But again, the best thing to do is, and this is something that I've done, I think an accountant will probably cost you maybe between 40 and 75 an hour. I just buy their time, and typically they won't even charge you. Right. So if you write your local accountant, write them and just tell them, hey, you know what, I'd like to consult with you out of your time. And we can either do this one or two ways. I can show you a few things about your business, or I mean, just offer to pay them, right? Offer to pay them for half an hour of their time. And then also when you're there, show them how to do something cool, like collect leads or something. Right. But I do not, Cleta, is the short answer. I do not, but again, I don't want to be on the call and give you advice telling you not to do any of that. Your local accountant is the best person to make that call. Okay, let's get into what I'm calling a workshop or a webinar workshop. And one of the reasons why I'm suggesting that you all look at this is really a launch may have already happened, and the market may be moving on, or they may be bored with the concept. So let's say you've already bought this product. Let's say you bought a piece of software and the market's moved on. So if you try to go back to the internet marketing market with the product, you're probably not going to get a lot of sales because the launch already happened, right? And typically the launch is covered by so many affiliates that if you try to come back with it, it may not be worth your effort. So that's one of the reasons, because you're looking for a different kind of customer. Does that make sense? So you can't, if you look within the business opportunity space and you're looking within the universe of people that buy internet marketing products, and you're looking for people who typically buy JVZoo products, there just aren't going to be a lot of sales left after the launch, right? Doesn't mean you're not going to get any sales at all, but if you're going to spend a lot of time putting together a way to a method, you're probably not going to be, probably not going to be worth your effort. Now, if you get that, if you understand what I just said, please put the number 4 in the question box, right? Because I want you to understand that, because this is, I want to make sure you understand why I'm telling you this, why I'm teaching you this concept tonight, and why this is worth our time as number 4, right? So again, so if you're just looking within that space, there just aren't going to be a lot of customers who are going to be anxious to buy. And so, but I mean, you'll have contact with them. You'll be able to share your link with them and your bonus with them, and you will make some sales. But again, you want to make sure that this is going to be worth your effort. Now, the second thing is, what you're going to need to do is find a different set of online customers, okay, and a different set of offline customers interested in the niche, right? And when I say online customers, these customers can be persuaded by your proof. So in other words, you bought this product and you did something with it. You bought this product and you were able to cause it to do what it was supposed to do. If you bought a PLR product, and let's say you bought a PLR product on email marketing, and you really did learn from it, right? You really did learn something and you implemented something from it. Then you're going to take that same evidence and you're going to present that to the people when you sell the product, right? They're going to be persuaded by the same copy, right? The same copy. So the same copy that persuaded you, you want to be able to use that copy to persuade other people. Now, the difficulty in that is going to be that typically, again, you're gonna have to find a way to put it in something that you can actually use it without changing the sales page, and that's hard to do if you're an affiliate. So how do you do that? So how do you gather up the convincing emails? How do you gather up the bonus pages, the best of them? How do you gather up all those things and then use them to your benefit? Well, one of the ways, let's talk about online customers in a different niche. And I don't know if I'm going to have time to talk about offline customers. I may have to do a 7th session, and I'll do that. But let's talk about how you reach different customers online. And I'm telling you this because there are so many pockets of online marketers. It's possible that a group will not have heard of a product in JVZoo, right? For example, and I'm just talking about JVZoo because that's where most of our world is. And I know that for a fact because I'm in a number of Skype groups. You are in a number of Skype groups. I'm in a number of Facebook groups. You are in a number of Facebook groups. And some of those groups have never heard of some of the other stuff that goes on in it, right? So people who buy stuff from ClickBank or who buy stuff from, let's say, Frank Kern, they don't even know some of the stuff in JVZoo exists, right? Some of the people in JVZoo, they don't really even know the stuff in ClickBank exists. So whatever world you're in, it's really possible that nobody will have heard of the product that you are promoting as an affiliate, right? So there are different pockets. Same thing's going to be true with ClickBank. Same thing's going to be true with Warrior Plus. Okay, Warrior Plus is a little closer to JVZoo, so they're probably going to be, the universe of people is probably going to be intersect some. The same thing's going to be true with Zaxa. If you go inside of Zaxa, there are some products in there that are fantastic. They have hundreds of sales, but if you primarily get emails from people on JVZoo, you probably haven't even heard of some of the stuff that's on Zaxa, right? So there are people who are on Zaxa who use that as their affiliate network and their shopping cart. There's also going to be Deal Guardian. So there are people who have products on Deal Guardian that you and I may not have heard of, or your customers. Right, so we can find affiliate products to promote that people either in our pocket, in our neck of the woods, haven't heard, or where we can find next to the woods where people haven't heard of them. And one of the things that I have learned from being in a Skype group, and I'm in a Skype group, I'm going to give for an example with bloggers, right? Bloggers. And they're interested in internet marketing, but they have no clue as to what's going on, right, in JVZoo. And so I've seen them come across a product and they say, boy, this is really amazing. And I'm thinking to myself, well, man, that was launched months ago, and you think this is amazing. But and it just underscores the fact that there are a number of people who haven't heard of these things, but they're in different pockets. And so when that happens, we want to start thinking about using a process called what I call affiliate webinar jacking. Affiliate webinar jacking. So what is affiliate webinar jacking? Basically, you're going to be sending your hot prospect. And again, I have to say hot prospect. I think they need to be warmed up to a webinar instead of a bonus page, right? So you're sending your hot traffic to a webinar instead of a bonus page. Now, again, you're going to have to find a couple of things, and I did not include this in my presentation, but in order to make traffic hot, right, you're going to have scarcity, number one, and urgency. Now, you don't have any control over the scarcity because the product is a product and it's an affiliate product, but you do have control over the bonus. And so your bonus cannot be available indefinitely, and it cannot be available to everyone. So you're going to have to make your traffic hot with scarcity and urgency. So something has got to go away after a period of time. So in other words, you have to control those two factors in copywriting and let the product do what it does. Again, I don't have that written in my presentation, but it's important to think about. It's two of the elements of copywriting which help you to sell faster, or at the very least, helps people to make a decision faster. Well, if everybody understands what I just said, please put the number 5 in the question box. If you understand what I just said about scarcity and urgency, please put the number 5 in the question box. And I'm going to move on here. Now, inside of your webinar system, what you're going to be doing is you are going to be using an automated feature. I'm going to show you this here in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, and in order to, let's create a new webinar. And you notice inside of here that what we can do, I'll size this up here. That you're going to be using the recorded feature, right? And so you're going to be using the recorded people. So you're going to be sending people to a recorded webinar. Now I'm going to find one that I've already done. I think I should be able to find a webinar that's already recorded and automated. And it may be this one. I think it might be. Okay, that's live. Okay, so just for the sake of example, I'm going to turn this from live to a recorded webinar, and then I'm going to find a video that I've already done and uploaded. Right, so now officially, if I send people to this webinar, it's going to be a recorded webinar. So with that, I'm going to come back to this, and I'm going to show you why that's important here in a minute. Okay, you're going to use the automated feature of the webinar in order to do webinar jacking. You're going to use the live webinar as your testing ground. So the only reason you're going to do a live webinar in this case is because you want to see how people are going to act on the webinar. So you got to do whatever you can to get people to your live webinar so that, and for testing purposes. Yes, you want to do your best to convert them. Yes, you want to make sure that you got something that's going to be hot and high converting, but you're really trying to test when you get people on the live webinar. And what you're going to pitch the products you're promoting to the niche, or to the different niches or audiences according to their problem. So just because you're getting a list building product. That is not going to sound the same if you're going to talk to, let's say, a room full of doctors, right, versus a room full of internet marketers. So in other words, find a product that you can pitch to multiple audiences, but pitch it differently, right? Think about how they're going to use it and then pitch it differently. I mean, a lot of people are going to have a need for something to build leads and just about any number of things, but you have got to make sure that you go through the process of pitching it differently to different audiences. And of course, you can change this inside of the webinar system. And I'm gonna get to why this is important in a minute. So let's talk a little bit more about webinar jacking. You are still gonna need a bonus, right? So I'm gonna show you that here in a minute. Okay, and so what you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure that you set up a bonus or a bonus offer, right, inside of the webinar. And you can actually show people a bonus in this area, right? You can actually set up a bonus. That bonus is going to actually be shown to people at a particular time during the webinar. They're going to be able to see it, and you're going to be able to have it pop up during your webinars. So again, that's not new. I recognize that's kind of old ground, but again, you want to be able to do that because again, it's less about the technology here, folks. I'm not talking about so much about the technology. I'm talking about the concept. So if you understand the concept, the technology is not as important as you sort of understanding what to do. So in webinar jacking, you still need a bonus. And throughout, now this is vital. This is vital, right? Throughout the presentation, right? If you're doing it or somebody else is doing it, you have to tell people what it's worth, right? Whatever the offer is going to be, you have to be telling them, and it can be subtle or it can be direct, right? What would it actually cost for them to fix their problem, right? What would it actually cost for them to fix their problem? And what will it cost for them to have a similar solution? You don't have to be good at webinars. You don't have to be a super speaker, but you have to make this point. You have to be telling people what it's going to cost them to fix their problem and what it's going to cost them to have a similar solution, because you are going to present to them something at the end of the webinar or at a certain point that's going to be less than it costs for them to fix their problem and less than it costs for them to get a similar solution. Is everybody with me? So does everybody understand what I just said? If you understand that concept, please put the number 6 in the question box. Webinar jacking. So remember, so we're sending people to an automated webinar. Okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so you're sending people to an automated webinar. On the automated webinar, you're going to be throughout the presentation. You're going to be talking to them, and you're going to be telling them what it would cost them to fix it, right? And again, you don't have to be an expert speaker, but you can say things like, I had a bad sciatica nerve, and when I got it done, I went to my doctor, I paid the $2,000, and then that was the end of it, right? You got to say stuff like that. Or let's say that your problem was learning to write copy. Yep, and back in 2010, I went out, I purchased Dan Kennedy's copywriting program. It was $29.97. It was the best $29.97 I ever spent. Or I bought Fast Effective Copywriting. And at that time, it was $497. And I have to say, it was very good. You have to say, so does everybody understand? So you're throughout the presentation, you find ways of letting people know the value of what they're about to get. That has to be throughout. Now, we just talked about this. Make sure your bonus is posted and ready to be shown in that automated webinar. Okay, and you want to set it to go off when the offer is made, right? And so we can actually time that inside of the webinar system, right? So one of the things that we can do, I'm going to save this. And so then one of the things I can do inside of the webinar system is that I can say at minute 23:17, I want to show the offers tab. Show the offers tab, right? I can show that, let's say at that point, and I can have things inside of the webinar to actually happen so that the audience actually sees it, right? We want the audience to see certain things. We want to do that during the webinar, right? Automate it. Okay, and so what you want to do is you want to check your stats, and this is going to be a little tricky here, right? This is going to be a little tricky, um, but if you get it, if you get it, it's going to make sense. And unfortunately, I can't show, I don't have time to show you this, but I'm going to tell it to you. I'm going to tell it to you. Okay, so let's say you decide to use JVZoo, right? Or let's say that what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sending people to a bonus page. Guess what? You're gonna set up two different bonus pages. You're going to set up one page so that people who click on the link at, let's say, 23 minutes, right? You want to know how they convert. And then you're going to set up a page for people that at the end, different page, because you want to count stats on both pages. You want to know which of those pages cause people to go ahead and buy. So when I say check your stats, you're going to pick the key points in your presentation and just set up two landing pages. It's a little bit of a way of split testing, but in one way, what you're doing is you're finding out, number one, which page converts better, and number two, at what time do people like to buy? Because then that's what you're going to start thinking about. You might want to only show the offer one time, but you'll start finding out when you start sending traffic to it. Now, let's talk about traffic. Let's talk about traffic. And again, I know this is, let's talk about this just really briefly. Where's the traffic going to come from? And I've said this before, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, and I don't mean to kind of to talk about this over and over and over again. I just think it's necessary, and we all have to be reminded, right? We need a platform, folks. I don't care what it is, and if you're gonna do Periscope, listen, and I could be wrong about this, but I think I'm right. I don't think the platform matters. Right? I don't think the platform matters. So if you want to do Facebook because it goes viral, right? Or if you want to do Periscope because it's connected to Twitter, or because if you want to do webinars, or if you want to do a blog, or you want to do podcasting, you need one, right? And here's where it happens. Here's where the magic happens. When you are consistent and you are consistently awesome, right? And everybody can be consistently awesome in one thing. You can't be consistently awesome in 15. So find a platform and build it, right? So if you're going to build an online radio show, build it, right? Focus on it. And eventually your audience will grow just because you stick with it and you try to grow it, right? If you continue to provide awesome content, something's going to happen and somebody's going to say, you know what, there's this guy named Natu. He has this online radio show. I think you got to go check this thing out. He says some pretty cool stuff. That's what happens. But it's not going to happen if you try to do radio this time and, blogging this month, and next month we're going to do Periscope, and we're going to do Facebook Live because everybody says Facebook Live goes viral. I just don't think you can do it that way, right? And again, I understand that we all want to do all these platforms. Pick one and be awesome. Right? Does everybody understand what I'm saying? You need a platform to produce content, right? Pick one and be awesome. Put your best stuff on there, and then continue to promote that channel, right? You can have a YouTube channel and promote it through a blog, and promote it on Facebook, and promote it on and promote it on LinkedIn and every place, but you got to have one platform. Okay, so I'm off my soapbox about that. But I'm going to stay on my soapbox about that because that's the way you're going to build an online business. Okay, now you can get traffic from YouTube video. You can get traffic from live streaming. You can do Facebook or Periscope or something like that. You can obviously get traffic from your list. You can get cold traffic. Now, if you have no list, you have no following, right? And you have a little bit of money left to work with, learn how to do Facebook ads. Get some targeted traffic using Facebook ads, right? Really easy to find your customer using Facebook. I don't know if that customer is going to buy, but again, you can find your customer on Facebook using targeted ads, targeted YouTube ads. YouTube has some of the best demographic information I think that I've seen anywhere, right? So if you don't have a YouTube channel and you don't know who's watching your videos, let me show you something. And I don't know. I guess I don't think I'm guessing this isn't a secret, but actually, I don't have time. I don't have time. I'd like to show you the inside of my YouTube channel, and I've done this on a call before, where the analytics on YouTube is phenomenal, right? Facebook has great analytics, but YouTube has awesome analytics, and they will tell you who's watching your videos, who's staying to the end, who's doing other stuff while you watch the video. I mean, it's amazing. So again, targeted YouTube ads. Solo ads, right? Solo ads. So you're gonna pay somebody who all they do is build lists, and then they sell clicks to those lists. So there are some people who will sell you 100 clicks, sometimes for 50 cents a click, sometimes 90 cents a click, right? It just depends on the solo ad provider. And the key is to find somebody who's got a great reputation and will get you the clicks from a great list. Right now, solo ads is a little bit like the Wild West. You do have to find someone good. Now, I do know of one person who's highly recommended. Her name is Andrea Fulton, and I'm on her list. I have not used her solo ads yet, just because I just have not used her solo ads. But I've heard that she has a great reputation. Okay, now. Okay, so where are you going to send that paid traffic? Right now, this is important. The paid traffic, right? The paid traffic at minimum. You need to send that to a landing page, a bonus page, right? You send that paid traffic to a bonus page. I'm going to tell you why here now. On that